What's up, everybody? GeauxBurns climbing back upon Mount Soapbox for another rant. And if you have a rant suggestion for a future video regarding Grand Theft Auto, gaming in general, games that I usually have played on the channel, YouTube, etc., that I have yet to do, so be sure and check the rant playlist first. Feel free and send your rant suggestion my way via the comment section, Twitter, Facebook, Discord, all of my social media, linked below in the description section. So Tuesday, the Doomsday Heist came out, and there was good stuff, there was bad stuff. I did a review on it Friday, and one of the things I want to rant about is the facility, aka Bunker 2.0. Now, the facility is essential in order to do the Doomsday Heist, and they range from $1.2 million to $2.9 million, and that's just for the base model without any bells and whistles. And there are 9 total scattered across the map over at the Maze Bank foreclosure site. So that's where you find them, and it's based off location. Like, the more expensive ones are in Sonora Desert area, and the cheaper ones are up near Paleto Bay. And it's just about like how far are you willing to travel in order to get to your facility. And if you don't have a problem going all the way up to Paleto Bay or near Mount Gordo, those are the 2 cheapest ones to go with. So what else comes with the facility, you might ask? Well, some customization and other options. And fair point. You know, we have been asking for customization in the game for a very long time now, originally with the apartments. So Rockstar's happy to, you know, give us customization options, you know, as long as they get money in return, aka shark cards. So what do we got in the facility besides the facility itself? When you just buy it bare bones for either $1.2 million or all the way up to nearly $3 million, just so you, yes, you can do the Doomsday Heist. You have the ability to have different styles. That's right, 9 different color schemes. Now that can range between $187,000 to $450,000. All of this according to GTA Wiki, by the way. Not only that, you can also have graphics on your wall. So yes, if you're like, I don't like that base graphics, I want something else. Well, good for you. You can drop between $77,000 and up to $175,000 for 9 variations of wall textures and decorations. Then there is the sleeping quarters, which is probably the most important thing you might need, especially if you're in a facility that's far away from like your bunker or your hangar or even like a property that you could spawn from, because you kind of sort of need the sleeping quarters in order to spawn. So you at least need the base sleeping quarters. But there's 3 versions you can get, each one nicer than the other. And that ranges from $150,000 to $290,000. And going back to something that is completely useless, I don't know why we have this in the game. So you automatically get the lounge, but you can decide between 3 variations of the lounge. Well, you come with like the utility one, the really cheap one with the cheap tables and the cheap chairs. That's the one I prefer because I'm cheap. But you can get more expensive ones, and that ranges from $185,000 to $245,000. Plus, you can also get privacy glass. Just imagine, you know, window tinting for the glass around your lounge, which you have to automatically do on like a keyboard, like a control board, like up against the wall in your lounge. You can get privacy glass. Why would you want it, by the way, besides having, I guess, tinted glass in your lounge? For $95,000. The security room. Okay, the security room, you know, kind of sort of has some purpose. It's for surveillance. And if you want to send out strike teams, that'll cost you $775,000. It could be kind of sort of useful. But then there's the Griefer's Death Star, the orbital cannon. Yeah, more on the orbital cannon in a little bit. But if you want to purchase the orbital cannon, it'll cost you $900,000. So you can see from the price tags of all the customizations, all the options available, yeah, you can quickly end up spending a lot of money on your bunker, facility. All right, so how do you get a facility? What are the requirements? Well, for one thing, you either have to be a CEO, a VIP, or an MC president. And if you're a CEO, that obviously means you have to have an executive office. If you're an MC president, you have to have a biker clubhouse. But a VIP, I think it's like you have to have a few grand in your bank account. So that's the cheapest way to go in order to get a facility. And here's what it houses: the Avenger, the Kanjali tank, the Chernobog, and the RCV, along with the thruster jetpack, if you decide to purchase one or all of those. By the way, I would recommend doing the Doomsday Heist so you get the cheaper prices instead, and as opposed to the quote-unquote buy it now, just to save you some money. So it houses those, and it also has space for up to 7 personal vehicles to go along with the Doomsday vehicles. Now, what's interesting is those vehicles I just mentioned, the Avenger, the Kanjali, the Chernobog missile launcher, the RCV, Riot van, and the jetpack thruster, those all can be customized without like an Avenger or an MOC. Yes, I mentioned the Avenger already. These can be customized inside the facility itself. However, the other vehicles that came with the Doomsday Heist, like the Barrage, the Stromberg, and the Deluxo, even if you park them inside the facility, for whatever rhyme or reason, you have to have an MOC or an Avenger with the vehicle workshop in order to customize those vehicles. And the question is asked, if some vehicles can be customized without an Avenger or MOC, then why do we need the MOC or an Avenger at all? I mean, besides the fact that the Avenger is a badass flying, hovering gunship. I mean, that's the only reason why I like my TARDIS, aka Avenger. So yeah, that's the big question. Okay, so you make it Rockstar to where some of these vehicles, we don't need an MOC or Avenger to customize, but for others, we do, i.e. paywall. And, oh yeah, I forgot some good news. You can also get free snacks from your receptionists, and there's 2 of them. Why you need 2 receptionists? I don't know. So what is the ultimate purpose of the facility? That's a good question. Well, as I mentioned, the Doomsday Heist. Basically, yeah. Because you can't store crates in it. You don't do research, even though I loathe research. At least that serves a purpose in the bunker. Or, make weapons so you can sell. Or, put for like drug fabrication or counterfeit cash fabrication, some other biker business. You can't do that inside the facility. You can't do import-exporting vehicles. You can't store those in your facility. Yeah, the only thing that you really have, the only logical reason to have the facility, besides housing the Avenger so that you can customize some of those vehicles I mentioned, and some of the other vehicles I didn't mention, you can house those as well, is for basically the Doomsday Heist. And yes, for the griefers, ultimate weapon, the orbital cannon. And I'm not doing a separate rant on the orbital cannon. I'll just go ahead and talk about it again. Rockstar, why do you put this weapon in the game is beyond me. I realize that it's expensive to get, like, what, $900,000 as we mentioned a moment ago, plus it's like a one-shot, so $500,000 per shot, and then for a targeted shot, it's $750,000. And logically, you would think that most people would not spend the money on the orbital cannon or, pay the additional money for the quote-unquote shot. But there are a lot of people out there with modded accounts with billions of dollars, and, $500,000 a shot is peanuts to them. So, yes, this is the griefer's ultimate weapon in free mode, and it's unfortunate that this is a thing in Grand Theft Auto Online. I realize that we use it during Act 3 of the Doomsday Heist. Okay, it has a purpose there. But to be honest, I really wish we didn't have that available. But it's just another example of, Rockstar wanting us to grief each other, have a war in the lobby. Especially if you're actually doing something that involves you having to be in a public lobby, like going to get crates, or going to pick up an import-export car, or doing prep missions for the Doomsday Heist. So you can get griefed and wrecked and, your day ruined by griefers with an orbital cannon, a.k.a. the Death Star, or Starkiller base, whichever floaty destructo weapon you wish to choose from. Now, my issue here is, why couldn't Rockstar simply just add an extension to the bunker, which we already have, similar to adding garages to the executive office, for us to, have, this, bunker 2.0 in, where we could go do the heist there, and at the same time, not spend as much money as we did, buying the facility, or maybe have the Doomsday Heist planning room take place in the IAA building downtown. That building next to the FIB building. That would have made more sense. You know, you go to the IA building downtown in order to have the main meetings, but then you go back to your high-end apartment to the heist planning room because, yeah, we've had a heist planning room in our high-end apartments for 2 years now. So there's only one reason why Rockstar did this, and it's called the paywall. Yeah, because having a facility is more expensive than a high-end apartment, and most people already have said high-end apartment, or at least a few high-end apartments, mainly for housing their vehicles, right? So I don't know. Logically, it would just make more sense to revamp the the heist room inside the high-end apartments, because they revamped them to begin with. Because up until 2015, from 2013 to 2015, it was just another room, and then Rockstar, with the heist update, was able to change that room to facilitate heists. So with the Doomsday heist, Rockstar could have simply just done that again with the heist planning rooms in our high-end apartments and simply attached those 3 additional heists, because that's what the Doomsday heist is, 3 acts, i.e. 3 heists. So they could have just done that and just revamped everything and then just had the main stuff happen at the IA building, all the main cutscenes where you meet with the boss, Rackman, as well as Lester and Agent 14, as well as Avon and Clifford. A lot of that could have still happened in the IA building, and then everything else transpire at your high-end apartment. See, that would have made more sense, and that would have been cheaper, but, you know, this is Take-Two and Rockstar we're talking about.